just another level of stress in that game.
Did we ever get the answer to Corazon's question from last 2 weeks ago, actually?
Yeah, it is.
We did. We did.
All right. The answer to Corazon's
Apparently they
question
did.
from last.
Right, we are live.
We did, Kim. We answered it.
Come on, Kim. Come on.
Sorry.
I didn't see any new questions this week.
I didn't either.
Did you
so-
do the show titles, Greg? The restream?
I did.
Oh, good.
I did for the restream. I did change it from Bunkerbuster, I promise. Technically, it was bunker busting fun, you know. We're not promoting war. We're promoting fun. So this is the reunion tour. We'll call it the Hair Band Reunion Tour. Yeah? No?
The Spice Girls reunion tour.
Yeah.
Right, draw some titles.
Sporty Spice is the only one I think I know from the Spice Girls.
Is that so?
Yeah, what?
Ginger, baby,
Ginger Scary,
sporty,
Baby,
posh.
Posh, yeah.
There you go.
Sporty had the best
Congratulations
voice.
on knowing
Yeah,
Spice
the only
Girls.
spices I know are
Paprika.
cumin, paprika,
Yeah.
rosemary.
Cinnamon, yeah.
Chili powder. Right, do you want some intro title music crap stuff?
People
Yeah,
demand it.
that'd be fantastic, you know.
Right, here we go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly?
I think we're just getting started.
I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
He sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to episode 841 of the Overseas Connection podcast. It's the reunion tour show. More on that in a minute. It is June 22nd, 2025. I am one of your humble hosts today, Greg DeLacy, Gamertag Murphy's Law, OC_Murphy's Law on Twitter. Also on the show today, starting from my most favorite to my least favorite. I'm kidding. Not really. Kim Woods on the podcast. Kim, how are you?
Wait, does that mean I'm your most favorite? Holy crap. I didn't see that one coming.
No, I did say just kidding.
Oh, fine. All right. Yeah, I'm here from the depths of hell. Although to be fair, I don't mind that it's the depths of hell because it's like 90 some degrees outside. So anyway, I'm here to do a show.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Also on the podcast, our very own Ultron supervisor extraordinaire. I don't know what to call you. I don't really know. Mr. Christopher Matthew. Chris, how are you?
Hi, everybody. Apparently, I've become Iron Man's arch nemesis, as well as one of his creations. So, everyone prepare for mechanical world domination. Yes. Thanks.
I just realized I said Ultron, not Voltron.
You
Yes,
did.
you
You
did.
did.
My faux pas.
Yeah.
Also on the show today, making everything sound wonderful, Mr. Mark Wright. Mark, how are you?
Hi, Greg. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm good. We've also had a scorching week this week. Been hitting 30 degrees, which is hot for the UK. And because it's the UK, it's always more stuffy and humid, so it's a bit unbearable when you're working in a physical job. But there you go. But I'd rather it be hot than cold.
Right.
Okay, I think I'm absolutely polar opposite of that. I'd rather it be cold than hot, I think.
But what are you doing living in California then?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Also on the show, Jack Nicholas joining us today. Phil, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks. How's everyone doing? It's good to
Excellent.
be here again.
Good to have you back. It's been a hot minute.
It has. It's been it's been quite a while, but I thought dust off my boots and get back into it.
Well, I'm glad you're on the show. We won't be talking at all about anything related to Dune on the show. That's great. So
See you later.
I'm curious to hear what you have to say. Hey, Mr. Matthew, give me a fun fact.
Fun fact, June 22nd, 1990, Checkpoint Charlie, which was the main checkpoint from crossing from East Berlin to West Berlin, was torn down. And that was sort of the ceremonial end of the long burning Cold War between the Soviet Union and the Northern Atlantic Treaty Organization. Is that what it is? Yeah, there we go. I think I got that one right.
All thanks to David
bravo.
Hasselhoff.
It's all thanks to the Hoff. There we go.
Where would we be without David Hasselhoff? Forget about Ronald Reagan. Forget about Gorbachev coming to their senses. No, David Hasselhoff. Or
All down to the Hoff.
Down to the Hoff. All right. If you are new to the show, we do this every Sunday, 12 p.m. on the West Coast. Honestly, that's all I care about. But I'll give you a couple of the time zones. 3 p.m. on the East Coast. Some think it's important. 2 p.m. in Central Kalamazoo, Canada, also known as Kim's territory. And then if you happen to be out in the UK surviving a scorching summer day, it's 8 p.m. your time right now. So we do this every weekend. We'll be back next week. We'll be next week after that. It's like we're automatic. We're here for you.
Mhm.
About video games, we talk about life. It's going to be a fun show. Strap in. There will be no commentary about. And then, no, I was going to say something. I was going to say. I'm banned from.
Well, I guess I'll go.
We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. Come check us out live. You could be part of the chat. It's fun. It's exciting. You could be like Boomer. And okay, Boomer, he's not as old as you think, although he sounds kind of old at times. He's in the chat. I'm with us right now.
You mean he's only 82 and not 85 like you said he was?
Yes, this is true. All right. Where am I at with the notes here? Let's do some birthday announcements. My mom had a birthday on the 19th. I actually was there last weekend. This is actually part of my story time, but I'm not going to go into it. But she's celebrating her birthday, 85 years young. So happy birthday to Mom. Also, apparently, Lionel Messi on the 24th is celebrating a birthday. Ariana Grande, in all of her wisdom, celebrating a birthday on the 26th. King Henry VIII, I don't believe celebrating a birthday anymore, but was born on the 28th. And then, let's not forget one of the most coveted days of the year, on the 26th of June. Hopefully, Mark will remember that he did, in fact, marry Jenny.
Yeah. It's a long time ago, so yeah, it's hard to remember.
How many years will this be, Mark?
32. 32
Holy
years ago.
goodness. Okay.
And we've been together since
Well done.
1988, so I think about 37, 38 years we've been together. Long time. You get less for murder,
You're
as my
not
dad would
supposed
say.
Mark, you can't have that look on your face. It's been a lovely time. You're
Yeah.
like, it's been a long time.
I'm very
It's been
happy.
84 years.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations, Mark.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary pre-day.
Indeed.
Okay. Do we have a birthday song we can throw out?
Yes, we do, yeah.
It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Okay, I just realized my gain was way up, so I turned my gain down. You're probably hearing
What are the other
everything
gains?
under the sun on the background of my side of
Oh.
things.
It's all about the
all right.
gains this weekend.
Right?
I'm sorry?
We're all about the gains.
We are about the gains. Okay. Mark, give me a story time jingle, please.
Everyone here loves story time, our favorite time of the day.
Since I already went down the road, I'll go first. So last weekend I was not on the show because I was up visiting my mom, getting in a little birthday action before her birthday. So took her out to dinner, had a lovely time, took her shopping, just a really great couple of days with my mom. So I appreciate you guys letting me get away for that. It was nice to be up and seeing her and celebrating. Again, 85 years young. I cannot believe it. Also, on my mom's birthday yesterday, we introduced a new member to the family. So my niece had a little girl, Lainey. So her official Lainey Luke is her name, which it's a little bit of that's a tough one for me. Lainey Luke. I'll just call her LL. 6 pounds, 6 ounces, 20 inches long, just a little cute little thing. So we have expanded our family. My niece and her husband are doing things right. They're actually keeping the population going, as opposed to like myself, where I only had one child. So I technically have retracted from the population. But yeah.
As have
So
I, apparently,
that's-
because I haven't had any. So, yeah.
Well, I got nothing to say on that one, Kim. Got nothing to say. I'm pretty sure if you put that on there on the internet, Kim, there's many people that will offer up assistance there if you want.
No, that's all right. I don't want any children,
Yeah.
thanks.
Probably best not to. All right, Mark, tell me something of substance.
So, I keep hearing about this movie called The Substance with Demi Moore. And the Seal podcast guys were raving about this. Well, Fraser in particular was raving about it, saying it was really good. So we watched that this week. And what the fuck is that film, man? Jesus Christ. Has anyone seen it?
No.
Wow.
No, it's on the list.
Wow.
It seemed a little weird for me, so.
Yeah, weird. Jeez. So the premise is good, and the moral of the story is deep. So basically, Demi Moore is an aging actress, TV star who does like dancing, yoga shit on TV, and the TV executives, the main one's played by Dennis Quaid, who does a great job of a misogynistic, fucking sexist bigot. It's hilarious. Okay. And they're just wanting to replace her with a younger model. And she meets this young man in hospital who said that he can help her and gives her this contact details for this drug called The Substance. And it creates a younger version of yourself. And I won't spoil it what happens, but Jesus Christ, man, it is, and this is swearing, it is fucked up big time. It is one messed up film.
So,
a good watch.
So is this just like a cautionary tale of Botox?
It's a cautionary tale of be happy with yourself. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. Learn to love yourself. Don't hate yourself.
Right.
Basically.
I have to imagine there's some unintended consequences that arise from taking the substance.
It takes a very weird turn at the end. All I will say is, remember the game Inside? Yeah.
Yes.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the movie for the week. And yesterday, in the beautiful hot sunshine, we took a day trip to the seaside yesterday. We went to the east coast of Yorkshire to a place called Bridlington. We've not been for about 6 or 7 years. We had a nice stroll around in the sunshine on the harbour, sat in a bar, having some dinner, did a bit of shopping, had a good walk around, and then came home. So it was a good day out. Really good. So that's been my week, really. Sweating my nuts off at work and then walking down the seaside yesterday.
Sorry, I've just noticed now the Corazon posted, I believe, a Robin Williams reference from Good Morning Vietnam.
Right, I don't know. I can't see the Twitch chat because I'm not logged in.
Nice. It's hot in the jungle. It's hot and sticky. Nice if you're with a lady, but not in the jungle. That is a Robin Williams reference right there. All right. Who's next? Let's go to Mr. Matthew.
Hello, I'm here. So this week, let's see where to start. So we're 2 for 2 for teenagers in the Matthew household, testing if their phones can swim. So Thursday, so we have a weekly happy hour that we go to, folks that I work with, and sitting there enjoying some beverages on the rooftop bar. get a text from the oldest son. Can you send the location of the phone from the youngest son? It's like, oh dear. Either youngest son is misplaced or youngest son has misplaced his phone, which is the better option. So we look up the phone and notice that it's on the last reported location is on the shore of the lake that they like to paddleboard in. Like, well, we know where that phone is, but let's go look for it anyway. We went out with some flashlights, did some searching around, no phone. Went out the next day under the full sunlight, no phone. So 2 for 2. Cell phones in the same lake. 2 for 2 cell phones. So we're keeping the iPhone people in business. So the youngest is now, thankfully he's the saver. He when he gets his birthday money, he saves it. Okay. So I was like, all right, replacement phone is going to cost this much money. You're going to have to earn that money. But if you give me this much of it up front, you can have the new phone. So he goes into his stash of birthday money and is like, here's the down payment on my phone so that I can get the new one when it arrives. And then yesterday we spent the day, I just given him some things around the house that needed done. Like, go do this and I'll give you this much dollars, and go do this and I'll give you this much dollars. And so eventually we'll get all the money back. Money, quote. Right. Yeah. So 2 for 2. Yeah. 2 for 2.
I feel like maybe the young men now need to have like a bag on a cord, slip the phone into it, attach it to the paddleboard.
Funny story. They do. They do have that. They just chose not to use it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a waterproof bag, and it attaches to a bright orange floating bob, so that if it falls into the water, you can find it easily. It just chose not to use it.
I suppose it's hard to take selfies if it's in the bag.
It is hard to do that.
Okay. All right.
So yeah. In more fun news, there's an Army band stationed on the installation where I live, and during the summer, while there are not cadet events happening that they need to support regularly, they do a weekly concert series. So on Saturday nights, they'll set up at an outdoor amphitheater and put on a free concert for the community. And it's, I say Army band, that's kind of underselling them. It is a professional orchestra. It's a very sought after position for career musicians to be in that band.
Okay. I was going to ask what type of music, but I think you just kind of put it out there. So orchestra, I'm assuming instrumental.
I mean, they can do it all. They have a rock band, they have a jazz band, they have a marching band. So last night, the Wind Ensemble was performing the soundtrack, and they had several, because we live close to New York City, several Broadway stars come up to sing some popular songs from various Broadway movies. Broadway shows. So yeah, we had a nice time. Sat out drinking. What were we having? High Noon vodka seltzers and enjoying a concert that would cost a pretty penny if we didn't live where we live. So yeah, that was great. Enjoyed that.
We have to have a conversation now. So, and this is to the entire podcast team. I am not a seltzer guy. So you mentioned High Noon. I have tried to embrace various seltzer beverages of late. They always seem to just lack flavor for me, and I just can't get over the fact that they're just not. They need that extra little bit of sweetness.
Yeah. You gotta kind of work your way backwards into it. So the gateway drug for the seltzer beverage is the Tequila Paloma, right? So grapefruit juice, tonic water, a little squirt of lime, tequila, and a little sprinkle of salt. On a hot summer day, that's the perfect cocktail on a hot summer day. And so you start with that one, and then you can kind of slowly put less and less grapefruit juice in it, and then you'll be ready for the seltzers. Yeah.
All right, I might have to backdoor this then. Sorry, I said that. Kim, Mark, Phil, any of you guys seltzer people?
I'm not a big seltzer fan either, so I'm gonna have to do the same thing as you. So
okay,
What's for the UK crowd, what is a seltzer? We don't have them here, or at least we may have them.
Just
but we call them something different.
You might call it tonic water or soda water. It's just
It's
carbonated
more soda
water.
than tonic. though.
Tonic water's for gin.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
It's,
there
it's
you go.
more like a soda
go.
water, not a tonic.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tonic has a
That's
distinct
fair.
flavor to it.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's soda water, carbonated water, and then you can add flavor to it.
Right.
And alcohol.
And
we
alcohol.
just go with the straight alcohol.
So normally I'm a whiskey person, but during the hot summer days, that bubbly grapefruit and tequila is just a nice, refreshing beverage.
Okay. All right. Mark, you have yet to chime in on this.
Never had it. Never had soda
Okay,
water.
all right.
I know I think my mum used to have it with some. I can't remember, but I never really had it.
Lime and soda.
Yeah,
Lime
something
porter
like
and
that.
soda.
Yeah,
Used to be- yeah.
yeah, it's an old fart drinking it. I think.
That's me.
Sorry,
I'm an
Chris.
old
Sorry,
fart.
Chris.
Gin and soda. All right. Anything else, Mr. Matthew, before we move on?
That's story time for me. It's been a slow week.
Story time done. Kim, what's going on with you?
Well, not to sound like Olaf from Frozen, but it's summer. Finally, it's like my favorite time of the year. For most people, that's Christmas, but not me. So I'm happy about that. Although I'm not so happy about the fact the kids are coming back next weekend, and which means all through July I'm gonna have to play babysitter. So that's probably where my seltzer consumption will come in, with a little bit of alcohol in it, so I can make it through the month. Did I say that? No. Anyway. Other than that, we had a family reunion yesterday. You guys all saw the pictures.
Nice.
I took a cake and it was good. Apparently it was good because when I come back with it, there was less than half the cake left. So apparently I did a good thing. Yeah, the family reunion was nice. I of course saw my brothers and their wives, and I saw Colton and Austin, my little nephews from my youngest brother, and we all sat around and had a good time. I think there was a pretty good turnout. Maybe not as big a turnout as there used to be when I was a kid, but then again, half the people that used to come when I was a kid are probably dead by now, so that would be why. But the new generation, we're keeping it going. So, because I mean, honestly, how many people have family reunions nowadays? So
I was just gonna say, so we did a Christmas family reunion, quote unquote, party, probably 5 years back,
right,
and that might be the last one I do. Immediate family, I'm good with. Extended family, half of them just feel like strangers coming into your house, and just like, who the hell are
Right.
you?
Right. I get that.
Oh.
And to be fair, I mean, some of mine is that way, because there were still people there yesterday that I was asking other people. I'm like, okay, so who is that and who do they belong to? Because I'm not sure I recognize them. So then they would explain it, like, oh, okay, that's who that is. I haven't met him in
think
my
it's-
life that I remember, but
It's
So,
even worse when
yeah,
you're like, I'm pretty sure I saw that guy on Cops. Not in a good way.
right? Well, thankfully, we haven't got anybody like that I'm aware of. But no, we usually do that every year, and then of course we do Thanksgiving and Christmas every year. Now, not everybody comes to those. Usually, that's just kind of like aunts, uncles, some cousins, that sort of thing. So it was good. So anyway, that's about it for me this week. So
Okay. And last but not least, Phil Olson, back to the show. What's been going on in your life, Phil? Talk to us.
Well, in
Thanks for
very
the
short,
conversation, Phil. Okay,
yeah,
let's move
well,
on.
Which volume do you want? I actually can't remember the last time I was on, but it's been a very long time. Since then, new job, getting healthier. Had a little hospital trip where I ended up in ICU, which was interesting. Which means now, and one of the reasons I'm, for those watching the video version, will see that I'm unshaven. I can't use razors anymore because I'm on blood thinners. So I was admitted with 2 massive pulmonary embolisms, one on each lung, that I'd had for about 7 weeks. I thought I had a chest infection. And I went to see the doctor and he said, I think you may need to get checked out. And about 4 hours later, I was in intensive care. And they turned it around really fast. It was a bit dicey at one point. when you're told that this medication could kill you. It was about 4:00 in the morning. That was a really scary moment. But aside from that, just blood thinners. So I have to use an electric shaver, and I don't like electric shavers at all. Prefer a razor.
Well, because you have when you have a heavier beard, electric razors, I think, are pretty. They're not as adequate as just your standard razor.
Yeah. So aside from that, new job, doing really well, big promotion. So yeah, going well. And
Excellent.
we're just about to experience our second empty nest. So
Second
only,
empty nest.
yes, second. I've only got one son. This is it could actually be the third empty nest. This is the third time he's left home. Hopefully the final time at the age of 33. But yeah, he's moving out this week. So running around, it means that he was living in the garage. So we'd converted the garage when we moved to this house, and that will now become my new office, which is going to be quite nice. Yeah, so lots of decorating and moving around, and finally getting my new PC out on my desk so I can actually see the bright shiny lights instead of it stuck under the desk, raising my office room temperature to a nice 32 degrees.
Yes.
Hence the
kids can be like was the Capistrano Swallows. They travel off and then they come back every I'm not going to say yearly. I don't want to put that on you, Phil, but maybe your son is kind of like that. He travels off for a little while, 5 or so years, comes back.
He's not like me, who's stayed around all these years. Anyway.
You're like the eagle Kim that didn't want to leave the nest.
There you go. That's it.
The eagle that kicked everyone else out of the nest.
Yes.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah. So exciting times, and just a couple of movies to watch recently. So over this weekend, we watched A Complete Unknown, which is the Timothée Chalamet Bob Dylan biopic, which was really good. Actually, I didn't know that much about Bob Dylan, and it's an excellent movie. And another one we watched last night with Paul Rudd called Friendship. And this is about a guy who lives in a neighborhood, and Paul Rudd is a new neighbor of his and goes over and wants to be friends with Paul Rudd and his friends. And it is the most uncomfortable watch I've seen in a very long time. This guy, the guy who plays the main character, is a complete nightmare. It's supposed to be a comedy, and it is funny in parts, but we're sitting there just cringing at every piece. Not cringing because it's a bad movie, but cringing as to what this guy gets up to, and it's well worth watching. Paul Rudd plays a weatherman, which I think he did in Anchorman. So he plays a TV weatherman, and yeah, worth a watch.
Okay, all right, Friendship. All right, I will put it on my radar. And you actually made me think of something to put on the radar of other people if you haven't already been watching it, which is Mayor of Kingstown.
Oh yeah, I like that. It's good. That
I
Jeremy Renner
started watching it. I have been binging the crap out of it. It's 3 seasons now.
Good, isn't it?
Well worth watching. Yeah.
At first,
I
couldn't
one?
get I didn't know what he did, but yeah, once you get the idea of what he does and that, yeah, it's really good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's one of those, again, starts off with a kind of unexpected twist, which you don't necessarily see coming. And I won't spoil nothing,
I know
but it is well worth it. The general premise is it's a town that has a prison within it, and so it is balancing kind of the outside activities of law enforcement and criminal culture within, and also within the inner walls of the prison.
Yeah, because a lot of the gangs outside the prison the leaders are in the prison, and the prison controls what's going on outside as well as vice versa. Yeah, it's quite a deep series.
Yeah,
Good.
it's good. Okay. Well, I think that does it for story time. So let's talk about some games.
Okay.
Today I feel like playing computer games. It's game time.
All right. I know we're well enough into the month. We don't need to worry about talking about the games we get for free because we pay for them, but we certainly can talk about the games we have been playing. I am going to handpick who I choose to talk about the games that they want to talk about. If you're left off the list, I'm sorry, but we do have time constraints. So let's start with Mr. Matthew. What's been going on in your neck of the woods?
I have been playing Cyberpunk 2077 as if it were my job. I decided it was time to just wrap it up. Before I dive into that, I just want to give a shout out. Greg is here and Kim is here. We had a nice little run Thursday afternoon in Black Ops. We won several matches in a row, so that was a nice treat. And I discovered that it's Sarah's fault. When she and I played on Friday, and I was pulled into her skill level, I was immediately terrible again. So it's all Sarah's fault. So well done. And so Outer Worlds, I'm trying to play through that one again. I still haven't ever finished it, but I figured I'd give it a whirl. But Cyberpunk, let's talk Cyberpunk. So I put some massive amount of time into Cyberpunk over the last week, and I think I have found all of the different endings. And what I'm pleased by, I won't spoil it too badly, but I was pleased that the different endings are in fact different. A lot of times when you play these games where you have different endings, it's like, one different character shows up at the end, or, something's a different color.
Yeah, your outfit's a different color. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But this one, so you kind of get it. The game tells you the point of no return. Like if you start this, you're in the end game, can't do anything else till you're done. And it gives you, if you've done everything, if you've been thorough, you have three choices of how you're going to finish the game. You can either let Johnny take over and finish the game with his old crew. You can call in the nomads to help you finish the thing, or you can go with Arasaka. You can take the operation. You can take the offer from the head of Arasaka. And the mission does play out differently depending upon which option you choose. Okay. Which I was also pleased with. It wasn't to get all those endings. It wasn't like I had to do the same thing 3 times. Right? It was a different mission.
That's good.
Yeah. So that was good. All of them include the final boss fight with Smasher, which the first time I tried that boss fight, I was exceptionally frustrated, which is why I left and played other parts of the game. But then someone was like, yeah, you just need a katana. For a game that includes hacking and rocket launchers and machine guns, katanas are probably the most powerful weapon in the whole game. You just hit the cyberware that slows time down, and you just chop them to bits.
But they are my least favorite weapon and form of combat in the game. So yes. I spent literally no skills on hand-to-hand combat weapons at all. But I remember that distinctly. It was like, no, you kind of need to be able to have something, in hand, so to speak.
Yep.
And I also went the nomad route on my final playthrough. So I'm now kind of curious. I may have to go back to myself now and dabble a little in different endings.
So I think as the endings go, the nomad route is the happiest of the options. Some of them are downright terrible. Like you just right punch in the guts. Especially the Phantom Liberty ending. You get if you have the Phantom Liberty DLC, that unlocks another way to finish the game. That one
Okay.
is a punch right in the guts. There's no happiness there at all. And so,
Well, and I just bought the Phantom DLC, so I'm going to be dabbling there. So okay,
Yeah.
all right.
playing the game in Dogtown and was awesome. New types of enemies, new types of missions, higher level enemies. So I was really impressed with the DLC. It's interesting. It was interesting to me because it plays up all the time. Like you can't take anybody at their word, and you really can't throughout the whole Phantom Liberty DLC. Just everybody's keeping something from you, and so you play the game with imperfect information, kind of the way you play through life, right? So that kind of is interesting. There was no way to just take it slow and have all the answers and make the perfect decision. So that was great. But yeah, so Cyberpunk finished all the endings, finished all the achievements, and freed up some space on my Xbox console. I'll probably I'll play some more.
Freed up quite a bit of space.
Yeah, just over 100 gigs with the DLC. I also have it on Steam, so I'll play some more later. But probably need to take a break from it because at this point I probably have everything memorized from having played through it quite a bit. Yeah, if you have not played through it, you should. It's really the writing is really good. The gameplay is really smooth. Yeah,
it's a fantastic game, and I think Cyberpunk, unlike Mind's Eye, which I don't think any of us have played, but it's getting panned hard right now. The people were like, "Well, could Mind's Eye do a Cyberpunk turnaround?" I don't see that happening. Cyberpunk was always fundamentally a great game. It just had some performance issues that really frustrated people. Once they were able to clean that up, I think across the board, everybody really loved playing Cyberpunk. Mind's Eye has many other issues above and beyond that. I see a lot of chatter about hot weather in the UK in the chat. Just want to say right now, come on, people, deal with it. Come on, UK people. You're tough. You'll be okay. All right.
If upper lip and all.
Right.
Hey, the world's changing. Time to invest in air conditioning. I'm just saying. It's a thing. All right, Kim, what have you been playing?
Well, I'll start with the one that I haven't talked about yet, and that would be Space Marines Mastercraft.
This is the only one you get to talk about, by the way.
Whatever, my dying ass. Anyway, it came out on Game Pass here. What was it? 2 weeks ago? I think it was like on the 10th. And of course, I already had it pre-downloaded because Space Marines, the first one was like which the second one's my favorite too, but Space Marine was like my absolute favorite game when it, came out. So, who doesn't like running around with a chainsword and slashing orcs? I don't know. So I've been playing that one. I did forget, and I got to the part, and if you played the game, you know what I'm talking about, where you get to the shell and you've placed a bomb on it, and you're going to use it to blow up the orbital gun. I had forgotten how many fucking orcs and shit they throw at you and how difficult that level is, even on Mark mode, because that's pretty much everything, except for Baldur's Gate. I've actually bumped the level up on that one. But, I'm playing it on Mark mode, and I forgot how many damned orcs they sent at you. And it's not only just the orcs, it's them freaking little ticker things that I can't remember what their actual name is, but they look like tickers from Gears of War.
Right.
I think they call them Zergs or Zerks or something like that, but they're tickers. And I kid you not, as soon as them fuckers get real close to you, of course they blow up and you're dead. And while you're being swarmed with the regular orcs, then you got those little fuckers crawling around. And if you're not paying attention, they sneak up on you and blow up, and then boom, you're dead. So the amount of times I had to redo that level. And the two guys they've got with you, Leandros, and I can't remember the other guy's name. Leandros is doing his thing. He's pushing the shell back to get it loaded up so you can blow up the gun. But the other guy, I swear to God, he's off in a corner, I don't know, doing stuff or something, because he's obviously not helping you shoot these orcs or the little ticker things that are running around. So, of course, it's pretty much all left up to you to take care of these things. But finally, after, I kid you not, probably a dozen times of doing this level, I finally got past that and got onto it. The only thing now that I'm realizing is I haven't found half the servo skulls. I realized going back through all the levels, there's like, I don't know how many of them damn things. I found 5 this whole time, and I'm like on chapter 4. So,
is there, and this is ignorance on my part. Is there some
Right.
kind of reward for finding all of them?
I don't remember, but there probably is, because I was pretty sure there might have been on the second one, which I guess doesn't make a difference. But there probably is, so I'm probably going to have to go back at some point and with a tutorial or something, because you'd think they blink red, so you think you'd be able to see them, but obviously not my blind ass, because I've only got 5 out of probably 30. So I'm gonna have to do something there, or just say fuck it and keep going, because I'm still having fun with the game. Whether I collect all the damn skulls or not is no big deal. But
That would my commentary would be just say fuck it.
Right?
I was like trying to find Halo skulls. I gave
Right.
up on that so quickly. I was like, things I don't need.
Exactly. So but it's on Game Pass. I'm probably gonna end up buying it because I waited for them to remaster this thing and put it out for the Series X. Well, pretty much since they announced 2, and I was like, well, surely they're gonna redo the first one, right? And they did. So I'll probably end up buying it, even though I own the actual first one on Steam Deck anyway. But hell, you know how I am. So Space Marine, the Master Crafted Edition. It's really good. I mean, it's not beautiful or anything like that, but it does look really, really good. But you could definitely tell, it was a 360 game back in the day.
Yeah, you can tell it's
definitely
older.
see that.
They gave it a good. They gave it a good uptick. I've seen the visual, so I would agree.
Right.
It still looks old, especially compared to Space Marine 2, because
Right.
that game is gorgeous. So
Right. So yeah, but if you're like me and you just maniacally laugh whenever you're running through a fucking gigantic orc mob and you've got your chainsword going and you're just kicking ass, then yeah, it's good. So it's well worth the price of admission. So
all right.
yeah. So like that.
Do I dare ask him what else has been going on?
Well, you don't have to ask. I could just rant about it anyway. It's entirely
Go
up to
for
you.
it. Come on, I'm kidding around. What's been going on in the land of Baldur's Gate 3?
Since I wasn't on last weekend, I guess I kind of go over what I've been doing since then. I won't, blather on for half an hour about it, probably. I rescued Minthara, which is one of the first things I've ever did, because in the first time I played through it, I killed her ass, because I didn't realize that, non-lethal strikes were a thing, and then when I flipped them on, I didn't realize that, they were working, and I thought I was killing her, so, eventually I just turned them off, and I killed her anyway. So anyway, I saved Minthara this time around, and she's an asshole, or she's kind of a grouch ass, but I kind of like it because she likes to give Gale shit. So, that makes it fun. Although she did call me ugly, so I'm not really sure how I feel about that, but what the hell, we'll live with it. Let's see, I rescued all the tieflings from Moonrise and the gnomes, which was funny because I swear I think I got a glitch, because you're supposed to rescue them and then, you got to keep the guards away from them so they can get away, right? Well, when I rescued them, the guards never tripped. Which, they got out fine, but that means they never opened the prison cells, so I couldn't get to where the tieflings and the gnomes were to help them with the rope on the boat or any of that. So I'm panicking, running around Moonrise, trying to find the docks, so I can help them get in the boats and get away. And I swear, I circled Moonrise probably twice, panicking each time, thinking that eventually the guards were going to go off, and they never did. And eventually I got a pop-up on the screen that said, hey, they made it to Last Light. And the achievement popped for rescuing all of them. So I'm like, oh, well, all right then. That works. I'll take that. So that was interesting. And then I went to Last Light and did all the little conversations with them, and yeah, it was fine. Although I still fucking hate Walbin Mongol. He can kiss my ass. Let's see. Pro tip, and I don't know if anybody else knew this, but do you know you can pickpocket withers and get all your money back? I didn't know this until the other day. The only thing is you got to make sure and do it while you're hidden. Otherwise, you will aggro everybody else, and then they'll want to kick your ass. So,
I can safely say I did not know you could pickpocket withers.
Yeah, I didn't either until somebody had mentioned it the other day.
Withers is, for the record.
That's the old guy that can resurrect you or your, companions, whatever. I mean, really,
I thought you said
don't
wizards.
No, I do that
There's
anyway.
a character called Withers.
Yeah, Withers, the guy that can bring you back. Which is a good thing, because on my very first playthrough, which is now actually in Baldur's Gate, he had like $1,200 on his ass. So I'm like, hey, give me that back. So there you go. So if you're playing Baldur's Gate and you've been, giving Withers a lot of money, because it seems like I do that because, I want to respect my character or whatever. Pickpocket his butt, because you can probably get your money back. Just don't do it when everybody else is like right real close, because otherwise you're gonna piss them off, and then you're gonna have a fight on your hands.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, right. Other than that, last but not least, and only because this is funny, I on one of my other playthroughs, I hadn't made it to the Goblin Camp yet. Well, I've never actually walked just like straight into the Goblin Camp. I've always took the back way around and disable all the traps and then talk to him that way. So I decided, okay, I'd try this. So I did, and of course, the only way the guy will let me in is if I take warg shit and wipe it on my face. So I did that. That was funny. And then I played with the war drum, because apparently you can go up there and you can drum on it, and they apparently like that, but they'll only let you do it once, otherwise they want to kick your ass. So that was fun. And I got one of the goblins to kiss my foot. Instead of me turning around and kissing his foot, he kissed my foot. So that was fun. Anyway, other than that's
fetish goblins.
Huh?
Okay, a foot fetish
No,
goblin.
I don't. Yeah, well, he wanted me to kiss his foot, but me being me, I'm like, nope, that's not happening. You're gonna kiss my foot, asshole, and he did. But then later on, I had Astarion go out and kill him and pickpocket him, and then I had Karlach push him into the river. So yeah, it was fine.
You're not angry at all.
No, not angry at all. No.
Okay.
No.
Don't cross Kim, people. All right. Gonna regret this. I know I am. Mark.
Yep.
Let's talk about Dune.
And worms are coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe
so-
Phil and Mark will both be chiming in on this conversation.
So been playing a lot of Dune Awakening. It's all I've played all week. As soon as I've been getting enough from
Okay.
I've been putting Dune on. So yeah, I've got quite a few more hours into it now. Progressed the story a little bit more. Built my second base. Got a really large second base. Gathering resources and getting eaten by worms. So yeah, the worms are a nightmare. Because I don't know if I mentioned it last week. I don't know if I got eaten only once last week, but yeah, I'd taken hours to build this sand bike. I'd gathered loads of resources to craft this armor, these fancy weapons. I've got special unique blueprints for these weapons. One of them was from a ship crash, so it's a random event, so I can't get that back. All gone. As soon as you get eaten by the worm, you lose everything. Yeah, that was interesting. I did get a worm tooth from it though. It was stuck in my ass, I think. Yeah, very interesting.
Well,
yeah. just a word on those unique items.
Yeah.
They do repeat.
Yeah,
so you can pick them up.
Yeah, but it's finding, because this was on one of them random ship crashes.
Yeah, you get random when you go
Yeah.
to various
Yeah.
areas. You get
It was
random.
a
So I've
sword.
got 5.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I've got 5 same swords. Unique
Oh, right,
swords.
okay. Right, I'll have to keep an eye out
So-
for that, because I've not seen it since. And I've farmed them ships, because for about 3 days last week, because of the server issues, there was no worms. The worms weren't working on the servers. So we all took advantage and farmed the shit out of everything on the desert side of it, because there was no risk. But yeah, they're back.
So now,
and
is
yeah,
there a story that you're following in
Yeah.
Dune, or is it just open
Yeah.
desert?
Well, if you'd have listened to last week's show, I was explaining to Chris that this is
I
an
was trying
alternate.
to, but there was a lot of reverb. I'm kidding.
It's an alternate storyline, alternate reality to Paul Atreides. The Atreides family still exist, but Paul doesn't. And you were sort of tasked by the Bene Gesserit to go find the Fremen. It goes on from there. But yeah, it's interesting stuff.
Yeah, the story
Sure.
doesn't really. There's an intro, so it introduces you to it, and then the story pretty much takes you through to a certain level by just moving you along. Not actual huge plot points, but when you get to, I think it's something like 50 hours into the game, then the story kicks in again. Quite as you go to the other areas, so you go to a Harkonnen town, you go to an Atreides town. And there's a lot of intrigue and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those towns themselves are huge. The design is absolutely amazing.
Okay. And you're both playing this on PC, I imagine.
It's only on PC at the moment, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's coming to console hopefully next year, I think. But the amount of effort that's been put into this game, I think it was third top. It peaked at sort of third top number of players last week on Steam. That was behind Counter-Strike and probably Roblox or Minecraft or something like that. But
Still amazes me how Counter-Strike and Roblox, those kind of games, still have such high player counts.
And there seems to have sorted the server issues out now as well. Like when it first officially launched, there was a lot of issues with server problems. But yeah, it's everything seems to be working okay now. We have a private server, so we haven't got unwashed building everywhere. It's just us guys. So if anyone out there plays Dune Awakening and they want to join our private server, pop on our Discord and send me a message and I'll get you in.
I have to ask, because we've had incidents, as in Rust, in the private server, can you destroy other people's buildings? Can you set friends on fire?
No, it's mainly all PvE in the main story part, and there is no friendly fire. And you can't do anything to anyone's bases unless you alter the permissions and let them do that, and then that's your fault. We've also given people permissions to come into our bases and given access to certain chests if you want to give stuff away, but the other stuff we can lock away. But we allow people into our bases because there's random sandstorms and they can damage you and your vehicle you're in. If you're away from your base but you're near a friend's base, you can just pop in and take shelter for a little bit, get a bit of water, and on your way again. But yeah, there is a PvP. Well, there's a few PvP areas. So there's some wreck sites of ships, and they are PvP. So the way the PvP works is our server is in a world. So each world has got, I think it's 30 what we call sieges, or these individual servers. So technically, when we go into a PvP area, any one of them 30 servers, their players can meet us, and then it's open warfare then. But I've done a few of these wrecks, and I've not come across anybody. I think the majority of the PvP is in what's called the Deep Desert, which is end game material. And there's even a part of the Deep Desert which is PvE only, so there's no battling. So if you want to get these resources, what you can only get from the Deep Desert, but you don't want to do PvP, they've catered for that as well. So it's really good how they've planned stuff out. And the roadmap for this is obviously in its infancy. They're already talking about a third faction, and we've got loads and loads of plans for this game over the next year or two. I've not even looked at the faction stuff yet.
Yeah, they've got a 10-year plan. One of the interesting things about PvP is that when you see another player, there is no name over their head. There is no way of identifying them as being friendly or not. So that's the same when you're... So the PvP area in the Deep Desert is really the mining area. So people are mining spice. And not only are they having to look out for the worms, because the worms come along, and there's some giant worms in the Deep Desert, but also other people in their ornithopters and everything else will come and attack you. So you could have... I've seen videos of 15 ornithopters flying around attacking people. It all comes down to communication. You have to communicate with your team to identify who's friendly and who's not, which is a bit confusing. But
I suppose in real life you wouldn't have a red or green name tag flying above your head, would you, sir?
Yeah.
And I've not really done any PvP, but I presume friendly fire's on in the PvP areas.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Okay. All right. It sounds like a really interesting game.
It's very deep. There's a lot to it.
I've always struggled with the story of Dune. I'll be perfectly honest. I've seen the movies. No clue what's going on. Other than there's white people that are really, really white that don't like the other people. and then there's people with really blue eyes. I think that's from the Spice. I could be wrong.
Yeah, the blue eyes.
And they hate one.
Yeah, that's from the Spice. Yeah, they're the Fremen.
So I never read the books. I've just started listening on audiobook to the first book, Dune, and it brings so much into context. Obviously, I saw the original 80s film, the David Lynch film, the best version, I think. It just makes everything come into place, and it highlights how much detail and how faithful they are to the material. They already had an AMA the other day, and people are asking, "Oh, well, can we do this? Can we do that?" And they just said no, because it's not in the spirit of the book.
Okay.
So it's a great game. I'm about 40 hours in. I haven't touched anything else. It's absolutely superb.
It's addictive.
Really, really good.
Really addictive.
Yeah.
Camera just decided randomly to turn off. Yeah. Not sure what happened there. Okay. So Phil, we'll transition over to you. But okay, actually, real fast. Kim, did I read correctly in the chat? You have not finished Gears of War 1 or 2.
No, I have not. 3 was the first one that I actually played all the way through.
You are grounded. Go sit in the corner.
I'm gonna make up for that, though. You know.
All right. Okay. All right.
Better late than never,
all
right?
Phil, what else has been going on with you outside of Dune?
Outside of Dune, so I upgraded a couple of months ago. I upgraded my Meta Quest 2 to a Meta Quest 3. Treated myself with getting this new job, and it is a lot better. I now have, with my PC, I'm playing PC VR games. So things like Flight Simulator. Flight Simulator looks amazing. Cyberpunk I haven't played yet in VR, but that's supposed to be absolutely superb in VR. And what else was I say? No Man's Sky is brilliant in VR. Really, really good.
I have to imagine anything that has a cockpit in VR, if you can play in first person, would seemingly be a really good fit.
Yeah, and I haven't even got into Elite Dangerous yet, using that. But there's a lot more. The problem with that is I think you do need a joystick and Thrustmaster and everything else, because you can't
Everybody
see.
needs a Thrustmaster, Phil.
Everyone needs a Thrustmaster. Yeah. But aside from that, I've been going back to there's a game called Demio, which is probably spoke about it years ago when I was last on. It is like you're standing or sitting over a tabletop game, very much D&D like, where you're moving figures around a board. In fact, they've just announced in the last couple of months that they have a partnership with Wizards of the Coast and are making a D&D version of it.
Okay.
Which I'll be picking up. Looks really good. And it just comes back. It's really punishing tactical game. And whilst I've been recovering from being ill, just playing a bit of Walkabout mini golf and Golf Plus. So MetaQuest have almost like Game Pass. They have a version called Horizon Plus, and they give you for £6.99 a month. They give you free access to games, and then every month they'll give you games that you keep, even if you leave the scheme. You get to keep. And some of the games they've had in the monthly access to keep have been sort of £30-40 games, high-end games. And a photo was leaked last week of a Xbox branded Quest 3S. So one of the things that is very good about the Quest is I can play Xbox on it on what looks like 100-foot screen with a controller.
I was just going to say, okay.
And it works really, really well. I've had no lag issues at all. And It looks fantastic. In fact, there it is now on the screen.
Okay. I have
really good
questions
fun.
about the golf games.
Yes,
So it says walkabout mini golf. Do you actually walk about, or
you can.
You-
You can.
okay?
So I've been out. So one of the things it doesn't do too well is if you go outside and sunlight hits the inner lenses, you've completely screwed it.
Really?
Yeah, it just burns in. The slightest bit of sunlight on the inner lenses, and they're burnt. So you get not holes, but like missing pixels. So what you do is, if you're careful, you put it on when you're inside, and they've got what's called pass through, which means you double tap the side of your head, and the cameras on it allow you to see and walk around, and that gives you the mixed AR part as well. So you've got games that are, on your table, or there's one free one that turns your room into a spaceship, and these aliens start breaking through your walls. So where your walls are, the walls actually crumble and fall away, and you see this alien planet behind it, and you're blasting the aliens. But Walkabout Mini Golf is probably the best-selling game on Quest. It's very, very good, very user-friendly, and feels fantastic. When you're in there and you're standing on a cliff and there's birds flying around, you can lean forward and look over down on the cliff. Very responsive, very much like real Crazy Golf 4. And yeah, there's a mist level, there's various different themes, but very relaxing.
And I'm assuming mini golf, it's like miniature golf, right? It's
Yes.
You kind of
Yeah.
Okay, and then golf
And it's-
plus, I'm
and it-
assuming, is more traditional golf.
Yeah, so mini golf, you've got Walkabout Mini Golf. You can play with other people, so other people appear in your area. It's just their avatars are basically a head and floating hands. Golf Plus is proper real golf.
Okay.
They actually have championships with it as well now, and they're real courses.
Okay.
And that is, I've just started playing it. It was a free with Horizon Plus. It was a free game, and it is absolutely superb, especially if you've got a fan going, because one of the things that you can get with VR is motion sickness. So quite often I'll have a fan blowing on me because that gives you the direction and it helps with the motion sickness. But I've been outside in the garden and played it with the grass underneath my feet and the wind's blowing, and it's just brilliant.
Okay. All right. Well, you definitely bet on the right company, I would say, for VR. Just in that Meta definitely is all in. They're staying all in. I feel like Sony's starting to.
So just this
back.
week, one of the biggest VR games, Beat Saber, which is I suppose the most famous VR where you're hitting blocks in time to music. They've just announced that they're no longer supporting PlayStation VR.
Okay.
So August will be the last update for them. So it just hasn't taken off. And just to say, the Batman game is amazing. So
I've heard a lot of people say it.
Think about Arkham Asylum. It is that, but in VR. And you actually have to punch the enemies, which is I've only broken one thing doing that. I broke my new monitor. I got a 32-inch widescreen monitor, and within 2 days, I've put an inch-long scratch down it by hitting it.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Now you know why I don't do VR, because I would either kill a cat or break my neck, or Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. I would probably get punched by my wife. I'd be like, "Here, honey, try this," and then I'd get whacked.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying she would walk up and punch you while you were doing the thing. Like, he can't see you right now.
I'm not gonna lie. She would do that totally. She has no qualms about punching me in the shoulder when it's warranted, which is often. All right. Okay. I guess that leaves me. So I'm going to gloss over a couple games. I think I covered this, but I want to just make sure I did talk about it. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 campaign finished, complete. Absolutely enjoyed that campaign. Surprised at how much I enjoyed that campaign. So if you haven't played it, which I think there's a lot of people that haven't finished it because of just the amount of achievements I was popping that were diamonds. It's worth the playthrough because it pulls in all the elements of Call of Duty, the offering for Black Ops 6, into it in a really kind of ingenious way. So I'll leave it at that. I've continued my playthrough on Avowed. Much like you, Mr. Matthew, it's become a job where Cyberpunk, you were like, I'm playing through it, I'm getting it done. I've been doing that to Avowed now. I finally have moved on to, I think, the third area. I was just doing all the different side quests, all the different bounties. I think I'm now into the frame of mind. I'm going to just start mainlining the quest, the story quest, and complete it. Let's talk about the altars. So I fired this up. I've been seeing tremendous reviews for this game. And so I didn't really have kind of any good understanding of what this game was. And so I'll just say this. You play a third-person character named Jan who is marooned on a planet. And it's kind of reminds me of Subnautica in a way of like there's this mystery of how you got there, what happened, and now you have to kind of survive to try and get off the planet. They immediately put you into kind of a very strenuous set of circumstances that have you going out and gathering items or resources to build stuff. And it's to avoid something. I'm trying not to give away stories here, so I'm being a little bit ambiguous. I apologize. It is stressful. I don't like resource gathering games, so this does give you that the XCOM ant farm like view of your ship that you're trying to repair and ultimately save yourself. And it is ingenious in how they do it because it's all kind of real time. So you control your character in the ant farm. You can kind of pop out and see the big screen of the entire ship and where your different rooms are, and you'll build other rooms and other add-ons to it. And that's all part of the resource gathering. Eventually, this game is going to bring you to a point where you'll create clones of yourself. I have not gotten to that point yet. There's a lot of things in this world that will kill you. I discovered that out the hard way. It is well acted. Sorry?
Any giant worms?
No giant worms, but like radiated material areas that kill you quickly. It is visually stunning. The voice acting, the story so far have been fantastic. But I'm not sure I'm going to get on with this game. I'll be honest, and it's because it's that similar to Subnautica. You're going out, you're gathering resources to pull them in and build stuff. But the game constantly is going to be throwing wrenches at you in terms of you're never going to get to a point of being like kind of happy, like, everything's kind of built up and I'm just kind of cruising. It's always something's going to break, something's going to need to be fixed, and it's life threatening. And then just the whole aspect of having to go out and hunt for stuff. I'm just not the hugest fan of that.
You won't like June, Greg.
Yeah.
Let's just say now, you won't like it.
Yeah. But so the altars, I think a lot of people are going to love this game. I don't know. Some of the game mechanics might be ultimately something that turns me off to it. So far, though, it is definitely worth checking out. It's on Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass, you have no excuse not to check it out. And like I said, the reviews on this game are off the charts positive, so well worth checking out and see. I characterize this as a Philism game. I think, Phil, you would like this game. Therefore, Mark, you probably will like this game as well. I don't know about Chris, and I don't know about Kim.
Well, you kind of lost me about the resource gathering because there was too much of that in Destiny, and it drove me nuts. So I'm not sure about that.
Yeah,
I played the demo, and I was not immediately hooked when I played the demo, but that was a pre-launch version, so I don't know. Maybe it's better.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely worth checking out. Like I said, I think for me, it's the resource gathering coupled with the stress, and it kind of reminded me of. God, now I'm blanking on the name. Capcom made a zombie game. Help me out. I know you guys know the name of this series. They made like 4 of them.
Dead Rising.
Yeah, where they were inside the mall.
Yeah, Dead Rising.
Yeah. So the original Dead Rising, you're inside this mall and you have this countdown timer.
Yeah,
it's constantly ticking down. This game has that similar vibe, at least for the part that I'm in. My understanding is that does change eventually. But it's always that threat of you need to get it done in a certain amount of time, otherwise you're dead. I do not like that kind of high stress in a game. And I feel like this game just is going to have a lot of that. But I'm going to continue on, see if a couple more playthroughs I can get past that fear, if you will. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we strap in for a quiz.
I hope you're ready.
Yeah, you know what? Oh, too bad.
Too bad. Okay, so no mystery theme this week. I'm going to tell you the theme. The theme is underrated sequels. So we're gonna look at some sequels this week.
Okay.
So 4 games, 4 different platforms. Let's see. I did an anonymous coin flip. It's just now in my head, and we're going to let Mark go first this week. So Mark, you're up first, and the first game is Dead Space 3. This is the Xbox 360 release of Dead Space 3. What do you think the Metacritic score was?
That one with all the little baby ones. I know Dead Space 1 and 2 were received really well. I think 3 wasn't as much. I don't know, I can't remember. I'm going to say 76.
Mark is going to say 76. All right, Greg, you're up next.
Yeah, so Dead Space 3. I know it didn't have the commercial success that the first 2 had, for sure. I still feel like it was underappreciated. I'm going to say 80.
Greg's going to say 80. All right, Kim.
How about 77?
Kim says 77. And the man in the dark, Mr. Phil, what do you think?
I remember when it came out, and there was a lot of people because it was quite a gap between 2 and 3, and there was a lot of expectation. I'm going to say 68 because I don't think it.
Phil is dropping the hammer. 68. The actual score 78. So a pretty tight shot group right around the actual score there for Mark, Greg, and Kim. All right, moving on to the Nintendo. Oh, and Boomer. Hang on, I got to add it.
Yep,
all right,
yep.
let me get my score sheet up to date here. All right, so Corzon gave us a 79, also pretty close.
Price is right.
Gave us 73. You know, hey, don't hate the player, hate the game, right?
There you go.
Let's drag that over. It's working. Excellent. Okay, now moving on to the Nintendo DS. I know that we all have a lot of Nintendo fans in the room, so this is always the fun. This is the fun category. Nintendo DS.
By the way.
The game is. Do you know where it is? It's probably somewhere wherever Greg's Steam Deck is. Oh, there we go. Mark's ready. Mark's ready.
See?
That's Jenny's.
Uh,
And it works. I charged it up the other day and it works.
There you go.
It's a
Somewhere, we
DS
have one somewhere too. Katie had one for a while, but I don't know where it is. The game is The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. Mark, you went first last round, so Greg, you're up first this round.
Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. I'm going to say 89.
Greg's going to say...
By the way, the closest I've ever come to owning a Nintendo handheld was buying 2 for Robin and then muling them to the UK for him.
There you go. For a short while, you were in possession of Nintendo handheld content. Let's see. That brings us to Kim.
All right. It's Zelda, so I'm sure it did rather well. But then again, and what did Tank Top say?
89. And I see you, Corzon. I see you in the
89.
chat.
I'm gonna go 87.
Kim's gonna go with 87. That brings us to Phil.
We're going to go 88.
88. All right, and then back around the horn to Mark.
I don't really know Nintendo games, so I'm gonna.
After so proudly holding up your Nintendo DS.
It's not mine. Jenny's. Now I know the Legend of Zelda. It's first party, isn't it? And it always rates really highly. So I'm gonna price this right, Greg. I'm gonna go 91.
91. Okay,
your
the
price is
actual
right in
answer.
Corzon.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to say 90 because then I'd be accused of copying Corzon. So.
Well, you should have said 90 because that was the right answer.
Oh.
So the correct answer was 90. So it's a pretty tight game here. We got the highest score is let's see, 186. 9 points separates first and last place here. So it's still anybody's match. There we go. So let's see, that was Mark and then Greg. So Kim, you're up first. This is our PC release for the week, and the title is Deus Ex: Human Revolution, which I believe was the third in the series.
Okay. I'm gonna go 88.
Kim says 88, which brings us to Phil.
I'm going to say 92 because I played this and it was very, very good.
All right. Someone who knows what it's about. Excellent. 92, which brings us around the horn to Mark while I record.
Well, I was going to say
Corzon's
something
score.
really low, but Phil's just put a lot of doubt in my mind. I've never played this. I've not even played. Is it Mankind Divided? I've not played any of them really. Oh no, I'm going to say 70 something as well, but Phil's put me off that now. I'll go halfway between Phil and my original guess. I'll say 80.
Mark's going to say 80, and that brings us to Greg. Well, we see if Boomer has an answer here.
Yeah, so I did play this as well. Very much enjoyed this game. Not a perfect game, but good. So it kind of it utilized first person, but you would go into cover and it would go into third person cover, and so it was this kind of interesting mix of first and third person. I'm going to say 83.
Greg says 83. We'll hold for.
It was good, but I think it was flawed good.
Flawed good. And Boomer says 89. There we go. Still a tight game. 8 points spread between all 5 contestants here. The actual answer was 90.
Ooh.
So
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Phil had it right there, didn't he?
So Kim and Phil split it 2 points on either side. And then Boomer with an 89, almost right on. So we'll round it out with our PlayStation 4 release for this quiz. Phil, you're up first, and the title is Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom on the PlayStation 4. Let's see if I can get you a release year for that one. That was released in 2018, if that helps at all.
No. I've no idea. 79.
79. Fair middle of the road guess. So that brings us, Phil, brings us around to Mark.
So I know the original Ni no Kuni on PS3 was very highly rated and very, very highly regarded RPG. The second one, I don't know, but I'm guessing the quality's still going to be there. Pedigree's been set. I'm going to say 92.
Got a 92 from Mark. We got an 88 from Corzan and an 85 from Boomer, which all serves to give Greg a little bit more time to think about his answer because it's your turn, Mr. DeLacy.
Yeah, I'm going to go 89.
89 from Mr. DeLacy. Excellent. And that brings us to Kim. Last word.
Another one of those games that I've never played. Although I've seen a lot of them, but I've never actually played them. How about 87?
87.
I know, right?
Pretty good guess. The actual answer, 84. Which actually gives Kim a pretty commanding lead. When I do have a bonus question for you.
All right.
So for go -8 for -8 from your overall score. Remember, low score wins.
Okay.
All but one of these games is lower rated than the original. One of these games was the same rating or better than the original. So we're going to go back and give Mark the first word. Which of these 4 titles was the same or better rating when compared to the original?
We need to walk through the titles again, Mark.
I'm going to say Ni no Kuni.
All right, Mark says Ni no Kuni. That gives, so Greg, what do you think?
Thanks, Deus Ex.
Greg thinks Deus Ex. All right, Kim, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Deus Ex.
Kim agrees. And Phil, what do you think?
I think Deus Ex as well.
Phil also says Deus Ex. Corzan thinks it's Dead Space. Waiting on and see if Boomer has an answer here. The suspense is killing us.
I know.
Drum roll. It's okay. We'll wait to see if Boomer has an answer, but whatever Boomer's answer is going to be, the correct answer was Deus Ex Human Revolution. Both Deus Ex and Deus Ex Human Revolution scored 90 on Metacritic. They were tied. And so after the bonus round, the winner this week is Kim with a solid 4. Only 4 points off of the actual total. So well done, Kim. Bravo. And Boomer says he has no clue. So there we go.
Yes.
But pretty close game.
It was good
this week. So well done. Yeah. Well done. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back again next week for another round of Metacritic madness.
Thank you, Professor Matthew. We appreciated the quiz. Absolutely. Always fun. And I did like that bonus question. That was good. All right. I believe we've got a couple news topics to talk about.
Here is the fucking news.
All right. So on the news front, a couple little tidbits here. So earlier the week, we got a video kind of dropped out of nowhere. Wasn't expecting it, but Microsoft announced a multi-year agreement with AMD. Honestly, isn't all that surprising considering they've been partners with AMD on the last couple of consoles. But they said they're going to be creating chips for future devices, which it says will not be tied to a single store or device. So I think this, again, we talked about the writing on the wall with the Rogue Xbox Ally. I think this 100% is now firmly with this announcement, a direction Microsoft is taking it, which is kind of hardware agnostic. They don't really care who's making the hardware, but as long as it's Xbox in theme, if you will, and Windows based. And that's the key. We're going to read it real quickly, the statement here. So it says, we've established a strategic multi-year agreement with AMD to co-engineer silicon across a portfolio of devices, including our next generation Xbox consoles. That was said by Microsoft in a statement. And I believe Sarah Boone was the one that was giving the Bond. Sorry, yes, Bond. Giving the announcement. So together we're delivering deeper visual quality, immersive gameplay, and AI-powered experiences. Everything's AI-powered, by the way, these days. It is absolutely the hot buzzword in the world. Grounded in a platform designed for players, not tied to a single store or device, and fully compatible with your Xbox game library. Now that's key and interesting because the Rogue Ally, the Rogue Xbox Ally, I think that's the full name of it. It is only utilizing Xbox Play Anywhere titles. It will not play natively back compatibility games. So you can't download those to the system. You have to play those through cloud. This is hinting at something very different. It sounds like they're going to incorporate some kind of chipset within the future silicon that will allow for backwards compatibility games to be played natively, which I'm excited for. That also keeps it feeling like a bit of a console as opposed to just a PC with a shell. But the next statement I think is the telling one, which is we're working closely with the Windows team to ensure that Windows is the number one platform for gaming. The next generation of Xbox is coming to life, and this is just the beginning. We can't wait to show you what's next. So Windows is the interesting element here. And that's honestly the freeing element to this for Xbox, which is they create a system that really is a Windows device that has maybe a Xbox UI shell, but at the end of the day, it's a Windows computer, and that's going to allow them to play Steam games, Epic Game Launcher, and they haven't named any of these stores specifically, but the hint is there, right? We talked about being able to put these different stores on the Xbox Rogue Ally. Absolutely think this is the direction they'll go with their consoles. And possibly, who knows, maybe they get into getting third parties to create a Steam box, if you will, for the Xbox. I think that's a possibility. I don't know if anybody has any strong feelings towards this. You chime in if you want.
I'm excited for it. This is like the one thing I've been looking forward to for like a while now. Something, the one thing that I can play my Steam games on, my Xbox games on, and because I'm buying my PlayStation games through Steam, I can play those on it, so it works for me. I don't have to go out and buy, 3 different consoles. But yes, I could go out, spend the money, buy a PC, yada yada, but I'm a console player. I like being able to sit on my couch and play my games. So this works for me. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm actually really curious to see what Sony does in response to this. Because one of the things that they've always kind of taken a little bit of like, I don't know, they held their head up high is like, PlayStation games, you can't play them on an Xbox. But, their third, Xbox games can be played on a PlayStation now. This really will flip that on its head because they've been putting all their games out onto PC through Steam. You would now, in theory, be able to play Xbox games through Steam, unless maybe Sony does something sneaky to where they block Steam games, on the Xbox platform. I don't know if they could or not. But I wouldn't put it past them to try.
Right.
Okay. On to the next story. Sega accidentally revealed sales numbers of many of its recent major releases, including games like a Dragon, Sonic, and the Persona series. So the sales numbers were included in a recent presentation document uploaded to Sega Sammy's investor relations website. They have since removed the document, but it was up there. People screenshotted it, and so here we go. All these games, for the most part, performing fairly decently, although I think some maybe less than I thought they would have. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, 1.66 million. Like a Dragon, The Man Who Erased Their Name, not even a million at 0.96. That was the lowest performer out of all of them. Persona 3 Reloaded, 2.7 million, 2.07 million. Sonic Superstars, 2.43 million. Sonic Frontiers, 4.57 million. Total War Warhammer 3, only 2.34 million. Shin Megami Tensei 5, including Vengeance, 2.11 million. Yakuza Like a Dragon, 2.86 million. Persona 5 Royale, including the remaster version, that was the highest performer for them at 7.25 million. Then Team Sonic Racing, 3.5 million. And Total War 3 Kingdoms, 3.21 million. I'm actually shocked these are so low in a lot of ways. As I'm really thinking about this.
Yeah, I'd have thought Yakuza would have been a lot more than that. Team Sonic Racing beats out Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yeah. I just kind of assumed a few of these different titles, in particular the Yakuza games, would be at least in the 10 millions.
Yeah.
So
the Total War games are quite a niche game.
Right.
I mean, the Warhammer 3, that's the fantasy side, not the 40k side. So a bit even more niche, but there's, whenever they release a Total War game, there's steady hitters. But again, I was expecting higher numbers.
Right.
That's not,
God,
those are top titles.
Yeah, like the Persona titles. I mean, they get talked about like they are the second coming of Christ, and yet
Right.
those are not impressive numbers. And it makes me wonder, how well is Sega doing?
Yeah.
Okay. And then last but not least, following a difficult first beta, apparently a lot of people are struggling to get online for matchmaking. The Gears of War Reloaded Developer Coalition has said it's planning to run another multiplayer test for the game, which will include more maps and more modes. So the coalition confirmed that another beta will now run from June 20th to June 22nd. So you have literally just hours left of this second run. Across all platforms. I guess they added in both social team deathmatch as well as competitive King of the Hill and execution modes, as well as 5 maps within that beta test. I'll be curious to see how this gets received.
Yeah, why does every new multiplayer game have problems online? You'd think as technology moves on and the devs are more and more experienced with multiplayer, it's not like it's a new fucking game, it's a remaster of a remaster. You think they'd get the fucking netcode down, wouldn't you?
I will give you that with the exception of this. This is the first time they're cross-platforming it.
So it is, I suppose, because it's going to be on PlayStation,
Yeah.
So that might have something to do with it, but I agree with you. It is shocking how online multiplayer games seemingly always launch.
Organizations talk to each other, because Halo's done it. That's got cross-play in it. A few others have. I don't know.
Is anyone excited for this?
Not really.
I'm not excited for Reloaded just because, I've been there, done that. I'll probably dabble. I'm more excited for E-Day. I'm very excited for that title. Which, by the way, just getting back to that Microsoft announcement, part of me wonders if they are not moving up their accelerated timetable for the new console. Because it's weird that we got this announcement out of the blue, after the big, June showcase event.
Right.
You thought maybe that would have happened then. So I know originally the leaked documents from their big Activision court case was talking about 2028 for the next console. I feel like that's pretty far away. I can't see them going that long without something new.
Day one game, Fable.
Yeah,
on the new box.
Yeah.
Well,
I could see maybe an announcement at the award ceremony this year, like they did for the Series X.
And what?
And
Fable's
then
supposed to be out
next
next
year.
year, right?
I'm sorry?
And
It's
Fable
gone
supposed to be
quiet.
out next year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
that's what I
gone very
thought.
quiet though, hasn't it? There's
It
nothing
has.
mentioned at this year's.
Right.
with regards to the next Xbox, Chris, Phil, and myself, we're already covered with that because our PCs are the next future Xbox. Because we won't really need a new bit of hardware because that's the way they're going, and that's one of the reasons why I delved into the PC side of it, because everything's going to be playable on the PC, even Sony side of it. So what's point in having?
But it's
The only thing you
two-
won't be covered
It's not
with.
in your living room. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Well,
won't
that's
be
where-
able to do your
that's where
backward
the Steam Deck
compatibility
comes in.
stuff.
It's in my living room.
Or
Yeah.
just
And
play it
for
on
the
the
record-
on the Fire Stick.
Yeah.
Backwards compatibility to me a little overrated. I honestly don't find myself going back and playing old games all that often. And when I have, like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, I was deeply disappointed by what I saw.
Yeah, the first one definitely. I haven't started the second one, but the first one I was like, oh yeah, this is not going to work for me. So
Don't hold
Yeah.
your breath.
But I
in a
tried.
second. It was great at the time, but
Yeah,
it
Right.
hasn't
at the
aged
time.
well.
Keywords. All right. So was Pitfall, Great at the time.
Yeah, right?
Horrible,
Love
horrible
Pitfall.
game. All right, Kim, let's talk some new
Yeah.
releases, shall we?
Alrighty, new releases from now, pretty much to the end of the month, because it is almost the end of the month at this point. We have Tobacco Shop Simulator for the PC. Oh, God, there's gonna be simulators for every fucking thing. Window Washer Simulator. I don't know. There probably already is. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now. Tobacco Shop Simulator for the PC, June 22nd. Shuffle Tactics for the PC, June 24th. Heroes of Mount Dragon for PC, June 25th. Second Chances, also for the PC, June 25th. Front Mission 3 Remake for the Switch on June 26th. Here's one that I'm sure there are quite a few people looking forward to. I'm not them necessarily, but I'm sure there's plenty that are. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach for the PS5 on June 26th. Probably this one too, maybe. Persona 5, The Phantom X for PC, iOS, and Android on the 26th. Ruffy and the Riverside. I have no idea what that is. PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. You'll find out on June 26th. System Shock 2, 25th Anniversary Remaster for the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC on June 26th. Horizon Journey for the PC on the 27th. And last but not least, we have Tamagotchi Plaza for the Switch on the 27th as well. And those are your new releases.
Tamagotchi, wasn't that the little
I think
toy
so, yeah.
that you had to keep something alive? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a little keychain. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard I was out to dinner and overheard a table of women talking about Tamagotchis, and they were like, "Oh my God, I used to love my Tamagotchi," and I'm like, "Man."
It's
I
Pokemon
heard
Go
a funny
now.
thing. Someone was talking about fitness, these fitness watches, right? The fitness watch is the new Tamagotchi, but the stupid creature you're trying to keep alive is yourself, right? So
Right. Not sure how well that's
I will
going, to
say,
be fair, but
the fitness watches, I think the accuracy sometimes I really question, especially
Yeah.
steps, because magically it will. Yes, Phil, you keep that motion going. You're going to take a bunch of steps.
right.
Anyway,
I know, right? Because there's been a few times here lately, like in the middle of the night, it'll tell me I'm doing an aerobic exercise, and I'm like, and half the time I don't even have the watch on; it's charging on my nightstand. So I'm thinking to myself, how the fuck,
Phil's left bicep is twice as big as his right bicep.
So one, Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
Mhm.
Ironically, Mark, we own Death Stranding on Xbox because I bought it just to support them
All
and
right.
saying we came to the platform.
I've already got.
I have
I've got
not
it.
played
It's free on Epic, so I've got it on PC, and I've also got
Yeah.
it on PlayStation because I think it's on the premium. I've got it 3 times now.
And then Tobacco Shop Simulator. That's an odd one. It's just like
Right?
decidedly like, I mean, Shop Simulator. I could okay, but Tobacco Shop Simulator.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, interesting stuff.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that's looking at that going, really? Do we need that? You know.
Do we need it? I don't know. I don't know if we do or not. What I do think we need to talk about is, Mr. Matthew, could you talk about play dates? What we might be doing in the coming week?
We might be playing shooter games during Shooty McShoot Face, Shooty Tuesday, whatever you want to call it. So let's see. We kick that off 3 p.m. on the East Coast, pretty reliably on Tuesday, sometimes on Thursday. On Fridays, you can tune in for Double Fatal Friday, 8 p.m. in the UK, and again at 8 p.m. Central Time, which is 9 p.m. on the East Coast. And otherwise, just hop in the Discord. It'll tell you what we're all playing, and if you see us playing something you want to play, jump on in. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely. If you get into the Discord, you need to get a hold of me. Reach out to somebody else and tell them to get a hold of me. It's just the way it works for me. All right, excellent.
Customer service, Greg.
Future. I just can't embrace the future. I don't know why. Look, it's that time. We're gonna wrap things up. Fantastic show as always. We'll be back next week. You can look for an audio version of the podcast. We'll send that out to you probably sometime tomorrow. But come do it live. Like all of these people did. Kim, let's give a shout out. We never gave shout outs really. We just talked trash about people as we went through the podcast today. But let's give them a proper shout out.
Alrighty, our people in the chat today are Corzon, Boomer, Lord, and even Robin showed up. So thanks you guys for dropping in and keeping the chat going. It's nice, when it's you guys and not chatbots that I have to ban. So yeah, come back next week. Right. We'll do it all again.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Well, why don't we just do some shout outs? We'll wrap the show up. Start it with Mark.
I want to shout out all the Dune players, so everyone on our private server. So we've got Filthy, we've got the Real Defoe, Greg's best mate. Gary says he loves you. We've got Surprise and Sarah. We've got Jay, my lad. We've got Sumu. And Gunslinger's joined. I've not seen him on there yet, but Gunslinger, I think that's everyone, isn't it, Phil? So if like I say, if you want to join the server, just message me or Phil, and we can get you sorted on that. And a shout out to holidays because next week I'm not here. I am away. So just a heads up, I'm not here next week. Over to Chris.
All right, I'm gonna shout out Corzan and Boomer for participating in the quiz from the chat. Always nice to have some extra participants. Shout out Mr. Phil. Nice to have your distinguished tones joining the crew this week. And I'm gonna shout out all the chooms out there, keeping it real in Night City. Kim, what do you got?
Alrighty, I'm gonna shout out you guys. It's always fun. Shout out to Phil because hey, you're my favorite DM, so I'm glad to see you back. I'm gonna, if you guys know this already, I got my Gale tattoo this week. So I'm gonna shout out B143D Printing out of Buford, Georgia, because he was the one that printed it and painted it for me. So thanks for that. And he's sending me Gale's magic hands, which sounds really dirty, I realize. But he's sending me those in the mail. So yeah, thanks for that. And I will be back, because he's actually giving me a discount because he forgot all that in the box. So hey, I'll be back. Anyway, hopefully y'all have a good week. Hopefully y'all supplies. What the frick? Survive the heat. I, stumbled or something. Anyway, survive the heat out there. Stay cool, and throw it over to Tank Top, I reckon. Or he could throw it to somebody else. I don't know. Whatever.
Maybe Phil.
Or maybe Phil. Yes, we'll go to Phil because I got flustered. Sorry, Phil.
She's forgotten about me already.
Shout out to Phil. Who's Phil?
Yeah. Who's Phil? Who's he? So predictably, shout out to Funcom for making June, and to the Spice Girls, which is the name of our guild in June Awakening.
You're welcome.
I think, yeah. Thanks, Chris. And also shout out to my every other week gaming group. So I'm running an online session. Has been D&D with some local guys here in the Midlands. We finished about 2 months ago. We finished a campaign that was running that lasted 3 years, every other week, and we've just started playing Call of Cthulhu, which is very, very different to D&D. Quite scary in some ways, and you don't get attached to your characters because they die horrible deaths very quickly. So great fun. And we are going to get the old group together for Distracted by Side Quests. Yeah, more goblins to fight.
Okay.
Kim's happy.
Happy Kim.
I like killing
Over
goblins.
to you,
what can I
Greg.
say?
And
All
also
right, well-
you guys. Sorry, you guys. I have really missed being on the show, but you'll see quite a bit more of me now.
As long as it's from the
As
neck
I
up.
start taking my time.
A shout out to all of you. Thank you for the podcast today. It's been a lot of fun. A shout out to Robin. He avoided deportation, but he's doing well. And a shout out to Spice Girls, because why not? Yeah. Shout out to the Spice Girls. I got nothing else. I think we're gonna wrap up the show. Come back next week, everybody. We'll be back. Thank you, Mark. Enjoy your vacation.
Thank you. I will do.
All right, love
I'll
y'all.
send some pics.
No, it's
Of your vacation, right?
Neck up.
Shoulders up.
no pictures of sand and a worm coming out of it.
Yeah. There might be worm involved, but it might not be a sandworm. Anyway, see ya. Bye.
Oh dear God.
Oh Lord.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast. See you same time next week.